guys, and welcome to a new review video. So today I'm gonna be reviewing a NYX Mineral Stick Foundation. I have not really had very many products from NYX so far. NYX is actually quite new to the UK market. It's been in the UK I think for about a year and a half maybe. This is the very first NYX foundation that I am trying. I have so far bought only I think a couple of their lipsticks and that is it. So I'm not even very familiar with the brand and with the range, but I've heard a lot of praises from other people, so I am quite interested to see how I will like this foundation. This is a stick foundation. There are not actually that very many stick foundations out there. I know that it seems that the stick formula has come back into fashion in the last, I guess, a year or maybe 2 years. The only other stick foundation that I've ever tried was actually by AVON, and I did that when I was only a teenager, so it's been quite some time, but I really like that foundation. If I could get it now, I don't think they make it anymore, at least I couldn't find it anywhere, I would probably purchase it because I really enjoyed using it. Now some technical details. So this is, as I've previously mentioned, a stick foundation, a mineral foundation. From my experience, mineral foundations tend to have some extra coverage, but I'm not really sure how that works if it is a stick foundation. This foundation is 6 grams, which is not that much actually. Normally when you look at fluid foundations, you will get about 30 milliliters, so that's about 25 grams or even more. That is definitely way more than with this foundation. So it comes in this little tube. The shade that I've got is light medium, so that's MSF04, which I believe might have actually been discontinued since I bought this foundation because I bought it a few months ago. It is a perfect shade for me, I think, because I am pale but I'm not so pale, so I guess light medium would work well for me. This foundation currently retails for approximately £11.50 or $10 in the States. That means that if you're buying this foundation in the UK, then you are probably paying about 50% more than if you were buying it in the US. Yeah, it comes in 15 shades, which is a pretty decent range in terms of shades. The average star review is 4.5 out of 5. I have read some of the reviews, some of the very positive ones, and the few that I have been able to find that were negative, so 1, 2 and 3 star reviews. And I can say that the reviews have been pretty much overwhelmingly positive. One of the things that have been consistently mentioned is the ease of use and how quickly it is to actually apply this foundation, how blendable it is. The coverage apparently is very buildable, and some reviewers also praised its natural finish. Now, among the not so positive reviews, so 1, 2 and 3 stars, the most prominent complaints were that it clogs up pores, so it gathers in pores. There is not enough coverage, and that after a few hours or at the end of the day, it cakes up. However, regardless, even though there were some negative reviews, there's been so many positive reviews that I wasn't actually able to read through all of them or even most of them, so I just picked out a bunch of them and pulled out the most commonly mentioned features. Anyway guys, so let's get started testing this foundation. So as always, on one side of my face I will be using a brush, on the other one a beauty sponge, just to see whether perhaps this foundation works better with one or the other. Okay, it's very dense, very thick. I guess it's a very creamy consistency. Maybe it's because I haven't actually used a stick foundation in a long while. It feels a little bit odd to me. So far so good. It's not very easy to actually blend it out in the sense that because of the density of the product, it feels like a real job to actually use the brush. But overall, it took me literally a few seconds to blend this out and it actually looks pretty good. I think it's a little bit darker than my natural skin tone, which is fine. Let's see how we get on with the beauty sponge on the other side. It looks absolutely fine applied with either brush or the sponge. However, with the brush it was definitely way quicker than with the sponge. The NYX website claims that this is a buildable foundation. So what I will do, because I don't think I have very much coverage on my face at this point, as you can see, you can still see all of the redness and all of the spots, which isn't unusual, but for a foundation which seems this thick, I would expect a little bit better coverage. So what I will do now, I will actually apply another layer of this foundation and see whether that will resolve the issues with the coverage. As I'm actually applying this foundation, when I press on it, it keeps rolling down. You can see that. I'm not even pressing very hard. That is pretty annoying. So now I'm just literally holding this part so that it doesn't roll down. Alright, so we're done. I've put a little bit more of the foundation on this side of my face than on this one, just because it's actually really easy to blend it, in the sense that it blends out really well with either the brush or the sponge. It didn't take me very long to actually blend this out. Overall, with 2 layers, it looks pretty decent. I can still see obviously some of my spots on both sides of my face, but that's pretty normal. So I will probably just add a little bit of concealer. I won't add anything on my forehead though, because I really want to see how this foundation on its own will wear throughout the day, and whether obviously the hyperpigmentation and the spots that I have on my forehead will become more visible, which I expect they will, but to what degree. So far I do like this foundation. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about it. It looks pretty decent, it blends out well. The NYX website doesn't actually say whether that is meant to be a long-lasting foundation. If it doesn't say that, then probably it is not, but I would still expect a foundation to last for approximately 8 hours. So what I will do, I will be wearing this foundation for the rest of the day, and then at the end of the day I will check in with you guys to show you what my face looks like and whether this foundation wears well. I will see you in a bit. And we are back. So it has now been about, well, slightly over 9 hours since I applied this foundation. I am really impressed with it. So I really didn't expect it to last very long, but it has lasted really well on my face. It didn't actually cake up. I can still see that the coverage is pretty decent. I can see that my skin is really oily, and I can see that it actually did cake up a little bit on my nose, but I think it's not the foundation but the powder that I actually used. This foundation actually lasted on my face better than most high-end foundations, so I'm really surprised, and I do want to test it for a little bit longer because I just can't believe this. I really can't believe this. So I will definitely give you my final thoughts in a while, but yeah, so far super happy with it. I would say one of the best foundations I've used in the last year maybe so far. So yeah, stay tuned for the update. Well, don't stay tuned because you're gonna see it in the same video that's gonna be in a few seconds. I will continue using this foundation for about 2 weeks and we will see how we get on. But yeah, so far I'm pretty impressed. I'll see you in a bit. It's been about a month or perhaps even a little bit longer since I started wearing this NYX foundation. In fact, I have used quite a bit of it. You can't actually see it unless I roll it up. And let me tell you that this is probably now at this point one of my very favorite drugstore foundations. Well, I consider NYX a drugstore brand, although I know it's somewhere in between and you can actually buy it in more high-end stores as well. In general, I actually really like stick foundations, and I'm so glad to see that more and more brands have been releasing stick foundations lately. This is actually the very first stick foundation that I have bought at all in a really long time, in I would probably say years. The last one that I can remember using was in fact from AVON, and I think the last time I bought a foundation from AVON was when I was in high school. So this is how long it has been. Now let's put it out there. This foundation might not be the best value for money, so there's only 6 grams of product in this foundation. Most foundations, most liquid foundations would be around 28 grams of product, so that's about an ounce or 30 milliliters depending on how you want to look at it. And this was over £10, so obviously for about 12 grams of foundation you are paying paying pretty much the same as you would pay for, let's say, a 30 ml bottle of a foundation from, let's say, Urban Decay, for example, or similarly anyway. However, I absolutely have no regrets and I really enjoyed wearing this foundation. I still enjoy wearing it now. It is on my face now. I have been using it pretty much every day for a period of time and I find it just the perfect foundation for busy people. First of all, what I normally do, I literally just draw lines on my face, like literally everywhere, on the nose, on my forehead, and then I particularly enjoyed using it with a blender. Somehow it was just quicker, or maybe my preference now is for blender rather than brush, which was the case in the past. And then if I was really in a hurry, I could literally just do this and it would be blended. And I'm not actually joking, I'm not exaggerating, because this foundation is just so easy to blend. So when I would apply it on my face, straight away I would struggle to actually see where this foundation in fact was. It might be that this particular shade was really good for my skin. So this is MSF04 Light Medium. I think they're actually discontinuing this shade. I think I've seen it on sale somewhere. Anyway, on top of that, I very much enjoyed the creamy texture of this foundation. I find it just so skin-like. When you apply it onto your face and when you blend it out, it does not mattify your skin. It does not make your skin glowy. It actually just looks like your skin at its healthiest, which I personally prefer over any other finish. It is apparently a mineral foundation, so mineral foundations tend to have more coverage than regular foundations. I wouldn't say that I have found this foundation particularly heavy, or the coverage was kind of medium, I would say, at best. So I would always use a concealer anyway, but I always do anyway with pretty much any foundation, and this one was no exception. But I honestly just found it so user-friendly, so easy to use, so natural looking. I really liked it, and it stayed on the face really decently. I wouldn't say that my makeup after 8 or 10 hours still looked like it did when I was leaving the house in the morning, but it definitely was still there. I could definitely still see this foundation on my face. I mean, not see, but I could still see that obviously there was some coverage. It didn't clog my pores, which is sometimes the case with some foundations. I have large pores, so I can straight away tell whether a foundation would be suitable for people with large pores, because I have large pores, so I can straight away see whether it settles in my pores or whether it does not. And this one definitely does not. Second, I don't think it makes my face particularly oily either. I a lot of the time wouldn't use any powder on top of this foundation. I just really like this healthy skin look that it gave me. It comes in 15 shades at the moment, and I so happen to have found a really perfect shade for my skin tone, and it definitely reduces the redness and evens out my skin tone. And as I've said a million times already, it just gives me a really natural look, which personally I absolutely love. I hate heavy foundations or foundations that look heavy, so to me this is a winner. If you are on the market for a foundation, then I would really highly recommend this foundation. If you would like to try a stick foundation, for example, or if you are a busy person, or if you travel a lot, because this is really handy even on the go. Obviously you don't really need all that much. You don't even, in my opinion at least, need a blender or brush. You can in fact pretty decently cover only some areas of your face. It basically works similarly to a concealer, so you can literally just cover your spots or redness or whatever area you want to cover, and you will be absolutely fine because of its very natural finish. However, please do not be fooled with the name of this foundation, Mineral Stick Foundation. I've used mineral foundations in the past, and I also know that they always had really good coverage. In fact, they had such an amazing coverage that spots or redness or whatever issues, especially in terms of color, I had, that foundation would completely erase these. So if you're looking for a mineral foundation because it has well, it has really good coverage, then unfortunately this probably would not be my choice. But nevertheless, it is still a really good foundation. I would say probably in the top 5 of drugstore foundations that I have tried. I am currently on a mission to find more stick foundations, so stay tuned for more stick foundation videos if you're interested. And obviously, if you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you know of any good stick foundations, then please let me know, or any good mineral foundations with high coverage, then please let me know. Leave me a comment down below, because as I said, I'm on a hunt for a good stick foundation, and actually I've seen some mineral products also coming back into fashion, so I am gonna be hunting for this as well. So thank you so very much guys for watching, and I very much hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!